react comma component from react come down, write a class class name called my class 7 extends component after that export default class 7. Come inside, write a class already written constructor inside the constructor follow the super function now come inside this dot state equal to color list red, green, blue, orange, next after that below you can write render function under the render function guitar division next one JS life cycle methods For example, constructor, render, component did mount, component did mount, component did update, okay, already. Now come to the app.js file. We can link somewhere in app.js file. My class 7. And in the routing, okay, now please load. Check now, page is loading. Page is loading. Now this all function we need to implement. Come first. And see in that constructor you have seen already. Flow we have to understand. First write under the constructor called alert. Constructor is the first point. Go to the render. Alert. Render. Okay, hope written. Check now. See the sequence. Which is the first? Constructor. What is the second? Render. Life cycle method is what? Those functions. Okay, those predefined function that will execute automatically according to the schedule is scheduled. Okay, life cycle functions are those function of your React or Angular that function get execute automatically. When certain stage will come, function will execute. When certain stage will come, function will execute. Now see, constructor, are you calling anywhere? No, it's execute automatically at first beginning only. Second, render, are you calling anywhere? No, it's execute after constructor. So what is that? The first stage is constructor, second stage is render. Next, after that, we need to understand what happening in the constructor. What is happening under the constructor? So under the constructor, we are creating the variables and we are assigning the values. Under render, what you are doing? You are going to print the variables, right? Under the render, you are going to print the variables. Okay. Now, if you are going to print the variables inside the this one under the render function, then what should happen? First, render should execute or first constructor should execute. First, you want to print the variable or first you want to create the variable? What should be the step? First, we should create the variable or first we should use the variable? What we should do? Create the variable. First, you have to create the variable. That is happening under the constructor. Then under the render, you are going to use the variable. So life cycle function is not any new function. Few 4 5 functions are there, useful function. That as a developer you are going to use. Okay. In that, the main life cycle function you have, the first that execution happen automatically after a certain stage, that is called constructor. As soon as the class will get called, your constructor will get executed automatically. Okay, as soon as constructor will class will execute, constructor will execute first. Once constructor execute, variable got created. Then your render will come. Render will come. If the variable is empty variable, it will print empty only. If the variable has some value, it will print the value. Okay. If variable have no value, it will print as a empty value. Next, after that, come down and write here another function called. So first go here. What to do in that? How to manage it? In that you can manage like this. Come down, write as a h2. Write as a h2. Under the h2, under the h2, under the h2, write the color list dot length. This dot state dot color list dot length. This dot state dot color list dot length. Color list dot length. It will give you 2, 4, 5. Right? Check it. It will give you the 5 total. See, total are coming how many? 5. Let me keep for division itself align as a center. It should come in center. Check once. Okay, hope you did. How many are coming? Total are coming as a 5. So what we wanted is, we wanted to understand this one. Okay, come now next. Write another one, h1, division, division, h1 id equal to my color. My color is by default nothing, don't give anything. Now come down before that, after that, write a button on update state. On click, equal to call a function call one. This dot one. This dot one. Okay, now we have to write a function called function one. Written. Now come inside, update the value of a state. Update the value of a state. See, as of now, see component when the page has loaded. When the page has loaded, the render has called, length has appeared. Now on button click, we are going to change the value inside the state. We are going to change the value inside the state. Once we change the value of a state, automatically update function will call. So let's come here, right inside, call this dot set state. Inside the set state, we can write here color rest colon this dot state dot color list dot concat. Okay. maroon color. This dot state dot maroon color. Okay, come now. Save now. Click on the state button. See, numbers is increasing. So number is increasing is nothing but you are updating the state of the value. Okay, you are updating the state of the. You are changing the value of the state variable. Component did states. Component did update will say whenever you do the changes under the state variable, the function will get called. Now, how is that? Let's come down. Write a function call. Component did update. Component did up. Component did update. You can call first. Did update. It's not that. No, it's a predefined function. Write a alert here. The state updated. Successfully. This function you are not calling anywhere. Which function? Component did update. But once you click on button, this alert will come first. After updating the value, this alert will come. Now, see 5 is there. I will click on OK. See, state updated successfully. So which function is calling? Component did update has called. Still your value is not called. Look at here. 5 is still 5 only. First component did update will happen. After that render will call. See, I will click on OK. Now render will become a 6. Again I will click here. So function call. Function updated the value. After updating the value, component did update call. And after the component did update, this variable will change. So sequence is what now? What is the sequence? First constructor, then render. After that, whenever you do the changes, then component did mount will call. And after component did mount, again render will come. Come now. Okay, ready. Next, come down. Next, we need to write another function call. Here, instead of writing this line, you call this variable. Which variable? My color. So go here and you can write as a document dot. See again under the component did update, you cannot update the component. If you update the component, then it will go under the infinite. So you have to do something that should not update the state again. Document dot get element. By ID we can write here directly, and particular element we can update using inner text. Component updated. Ah, ah, sad. The video call करो, video call. Video call करो. My daughter has gone to the school first day of life, and then they have cried a lot. I was there only from morning, busy in their process. Okay, so written this. Now come. Once you click on update, alert will come, and after alert, that message will appear here. Component updated. Okay, component updated. Let me go to other component and come back. So by default, okay. Now let's go here. Do one more thing. Now right here, see, remove this alert. Remove the alert and come here. The right component did mount. Component did mount. Under the component did mount, you will write here the same line, but message will be different. In component did mount, you can write here component is loaded. Is loaded now. Component is loaded now. Component is loaded now. Right. Component updated now. So once the page will load, okay, run the page now. Once the page will load, by default, it will say component is loaded now. Yes. Okay, component is loaded now. We can write here did mount. Component did mount. So component did mount will, let me write alert also here, make it more clear. Component did mount will call. Mount component did mount is called. Keep one more alert here. Component did update called. Check now. Once the page will load, component did mount will come. Once the page loading is finished, then component did on load component did mount will come. Once you page will load, and then after that, once you click on OK and all, message will appear. If you click on a button, so component update will happen. So once the component will update will happen, then component did update will call. Let's come to the browser now. See, it's saying like component did mount called. Okay, let me go to other component and come back. Saying component did mount is called. See here, component did mount is called. Now when I update here, you can see it is saying like component is updated. Component is updated. Component is updated. Again I click here, component is updated. Again I click here, component is state. Okay. So now I will create a variable here, a state variable. Come down, create a variable called counter:1. Counter:1. Hmm? Recording. Okay, ready. After that, come down. Next, we can go to the next component. Next function that is called onClick. You go here and go here counter:, this dot state dot counter +1. This dot state dot counter +1. Check now. Hello. Tell me, sir. Okay. Wait for 5 minutes. I will call you back.
Python batch is doing.
Python batch will start in coming few days. Okay, so we added counter plus this dot state dot counter +1. Now come down and see here we have added the inner text. Do the plus this dot state dot this dot state dot counter. This dot state dot counter. This dot state dot counter. Now after that, check now what is coming in the browser. By default, it will say component did mount we have added. Under the component did mount, it will say this dot state dot counter. So what is the state dot counter? 1. So by default, it should print as a 1. By default, it should print as a 1. See, it's printing as a 1. Now when we click here, this number should keep change. That meaning component will be keep updating. See here. So we can go here and again we can call here this number. This number. Okay. Okay, now come down, run the page and check once what is happening. One has come. Once you click, update happen, number got changed to 2. Again you click, update happen, number got changed to 3. Again click, number component update happen and the number got changed to 4. So overall, now when who is going to call, you can write a note below. Just like this. Constructor it called on page load. Second, render called after constructor. Component date mount call it call after render. First time while page load. Next component did update it call whenever any value get updated in state variable. Whenever any value gets changed into the state variable. Save it. Okay, hope written. So constructor will execute in the beginning, render will execute after that, component did mount will execute after render, component did update will call when once the any changes happen under the component. Right, see you again tomorrow.
These document.get element by id dot inner text, these things will always work under component did mount or component did update method.
Component did mount, it will work everywhere because
Okay.
that's pure JavaScript code.
All the JavaScript syntaxes will work under component did mount, right?
Yes, it's working, no?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Working.
inside render method was not working. That is
Mm-hmm.
inside render method, normal JavaScript codes don't work. So
The render,
here it
under the render, you don't write that. Under the render, you can use the map and other things. Mhm.